Hello, and welcome to Teacher Talk. I'm your host, Kelly C. Let's head into the planning room and find out what the hot topic of discussion is for today. Well, it sounds like the hot topic of today's discussion is race to the top. But what are we racing to the top of? For over a decade, parents, teachers, administrators, and leaders throughout the state have worked tirelessly to bring Florida to the forefront of educational change and innovation. This collaboration has resulted in substantial progress, including the creation and continued improvement of a first-class data collection and tracking system, the adoption of rigorous standards and assessments, and the implementation of a differentiated accountability program. As a result, on August 24th, the U.S. Department of Education announced that Florida was a winner of the federal Race to the Top competition. This funding will be dedicated to carrying out a broad range of strategies designed to improve our lowest performing schools and increase the academic achievement of all our students. On today's show, we will be taking a closer look at the elements that make up our Race to the Top.
Hi, I'm Arnie Duncan, Secretary of Education. I'd like to congratulate the 10 states who won in the second round of the Race to the Top competition. We've seen extraordinary progress around the country. 46 states have submitted plans between the two rounds, and we want to work with every single one of them going forward to help them implement their daring and comprehensive reform plans. The kinds of changes we're seeing across the country, I think, are transformational for decades. States raise standards, stop dumbing them down, stop lying to children. Particularly for disadvantaged children, this is so hugely important. This is a game changer. If states figure out how to better use data systems so students don't get lost along their education trajectory, as we get better teachers, better principals into tough schools, disadvantaged communities where too often talent is fled rather than been attracted to those communities, we're going to educate our way to a better economy. And so we think not just over the short term, but over the long term, the kinds of reforms that states are putting in place, the kinds of comprehensive strategies they're working on, will change the face of education in this country and will have tremendous impact, tremendous dividends for the country in terms of maintaining our health and vitality of our nation's economy.
First, let's review some frequently used acronyms associated with Race to the Top. CCSS, Common Core State Standards. FDOE, Florida Department of Education. LEA, Local Education Agency, which is your local school district. RFP, Request for Proposals. And RTTT, Race to the Top. Florida's educators have done a phenomenal job increasing our FCAT proficiency rates, closing our achievement gaps, and increasing our graduation rates. The FCAT percent proficiency has improved from 2001 to 2009. African American and Hispanic graduation rates are up 10% in just 4 years. By 2009, 40% of Florida's high school graduates took an AP exam. Hispanic students have eliminated the achievement gap in AP in Florida. Steady growth in dual enrollment participation and performance has fueled Florida's college and career-ready agenda. The number of Florida students earning industry certification has skyrocketed.
I think the key thing was teamwork. Teamwork with a vision, bringing people together around how we might make education more successful for our young people, how we can help improve our schools K-12 to make more students, help them prepare them for college, for workforce, for success in college and success in life. And I think a combination of people collaborating and a very keen vision about what we need to do for our young people is allowed us to be successful. It's a very different approach, and I really do commend the administration for how they've tackled this issue of school improvement. That I think we've had years of directives coming down. This really is an opportunity, supported with money, which is very unusual, but an opportunity for educators and communities to come together around what they should do, what they know they should do to make education better for themselves, but most importantly what they need to do to make education better for the children. And it's not often when that opportunity comes along where people ask you to be part of the solution. And this is an opportunity that educators cannot afford to pass up. This allows reform not only to stay alive and continue to move forward in America, but it puts it on steroids. It gives it a chance to really breathe and bring focus to it. So at the local level, it's going to give both administrators, teachers, community leaders an opportunity to really focus on how they can take these values, these beliefs in our children, and put them into strategic action.
Race to the Top has 3 main student achievement goals. The first is to double the percentage of incoming high school freshmen who graduate from high school, go to college, and earn a year's worth of college credit. Secondly, we want to cut the achievement gap in half by 2015. And last but not least, we want to increase the percentage of students scoring at or above proficiency on NAEP by 2015, far beyond the performance levels of any of the highest performing states. Goal number 1 is to double the percent of our students earning college credit. Of every 100 high school freshmen in 2011-2012, 85 will graduate from high school in 2015. Of the 85 students who graduate, 63 will go on to college by 2017. And of the 63 students who went on to college, 44 will earn at least a year's worth of college credit by 2019. Goals 2 and 3 will be achieved in part through an increased focus on educator accomplished practices. Educator accomplished practices can be achieved through a repetitive 4-step problem-solving process known as PDCA: plan, do, check, and act. First, you will need to look at the quality of your instruction. Planning will involve instructional design, lesson planning, and the learning environment. The doing step involves instructional delivery and facilitation of your lessons. Assessments will be covered in the 3rd step of checking. Assessment results will show if you're on track with your planning and doing steps. Once you have established quality instruction, you will want to focus on continuous improvement and professional responsibility. This brings us to our 4th step, acting on what you have learned through continuous professional improvement and displaying professional responsibility and ethical conduct. Following plan, do, check, act will lead to highly effective teachers, which will in turn directly correlate to accomplishing our Race to the Top goals of cutting the achievement gap and increasing student proficiency on the National Assessment of Educational Progress.
From Superintendent of Hillsborough County Schools. We're in part 2, our segment right now. We've been speaking to Mary Ellen about this unbelievable task of winning the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation and $100 million that came into Hillsborough County, one of only 4 markets in the entire country who won this money. This is a huge accomplishment. What are you going to do next? Run for?
No, absolutely not.
Tell us right here, come on.
I have a job to do, and it's far from done.
So you've been doing some amazing things here, so I'm so proud and very proudful of the work you've been doing, Mary Ellen. So we've been speaking about the targets, and we spoke about the student outcomes that we're trying to get, because at the end of the day, it comes down to achievement. And really, there's no other possible denominator you'd be shooting for, I'm sure, than student achievement.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. And so we started to talking about compensation of our teachers and our educators across the board. You have been on the forefront of this, and I'm so proud to hear this. Tell me a little bit more. And I see this performance-based career ladder and compensation you have, which takes somebody from an apprentice mode to career, advanced, master. Will you share with us a little bit about this compensation tiered program?
Sure. When a new teacher comes in, they're in that apprentice level, okay? And basically, that would be the equivalent of your beginning teacher. And we provide lots of supports. We'll have our teacher mentors working with them. But the big time comes at the end of a 3 or 4 year period where we have 3 years of data showing that their students are making gains. We have evaluations from those 3 years. And in a value-added model, we can say their students grew. Whatever school students they had, whatever...
Because the data doesn't lie.
That's it. And so you know the outcomes for those students.
The 3 year track record.
And those teachers are accountable for those outcomes, and therefore they should be given the salary that's commensurate for the important work they're doing. So then they move to that next level, that career level. And the career level is basically taking the teacher's salary scale that we currently have that really is used basically everywhere in the country. You get moved up on the salary scale if you have had another year of experience, and if you have additional degrees, that usually affects your salary. So if you have a master's degree, you get a higher amount. Well, we've moved those things off the page, and 30% of the teacher's evaluation is based on principals, 30% on their peer evaluators, and 40% on the student's performance.
So that's the change from what it was.
That's the change of what it was.
Wow.
And now
Okay.
then your teachers will end up being in the career level or the master level, moving up, and as they do, everybody who's getting that same kind of performance from students will be at the same salary
So
scale.
we're speaking here now of accountability is what we're speaking about.
Absolutely.
We're speaking of accountability, and we're speaking of, it's the old saying, put your money where your mouth is. If you want to make more money, you've got to do X. Whereas before, it might have been, you're saying, based on the degree you earned some years ago.
Or based on the fact that you were there for another year and you moved up on the scale.
Tenure, yeah. So now we've got a much more advanced program, which I like very much. Really, this is so cool because it's a performance-based. Now, will this be adapted at all with the state of Florida? Will they adopt this sort of thing?
Well, I mean, there's a number of different agendas the state of Florida has shown. I mean, there's been some legislation that is part of this, but specifically, they have no legislation that's been passed yet.
I understand.
There was some characteristics in Senate Bill 6 that did not pass that were similar to the project we're doing. But a key part of this is that our teachers are working with us in developing and in implementing this program.
So the results, and this has been ongoing for you all, as you pointed out to me a couple of times to set me straight on that point, because I wasn't sure when this really came into play. So what are the fruits of the labor on this? Well, let's speak to it.
Well, I mean, let's face it. We've had some kind of a pay-for-performance from the almost 2000. Okay, so over a 10-year period. 4 years, we've had the Merit Award Program, which is funded by the state of Florida. And Hillsborough has received in excess of $25 million over a 3-year period with another funding cycle coming up. And basically that money is divided among the teachers who have the top performance with a value table that says they had this many students, they were categorized with this group, and those teachers ensured that they received this extra amount. But that's a bonus on top of their regular salary. Our new proposal that the Gates Foundation is funding, that proposal is basically changing all of those givens.
Well, and I assume, it's going to make and ensure that you keep the edge on. I mean, I kind of like this.
Well, it is, but it also is taking those beginning teachers who realize after 3 or 4 years they might be great, but they're saying, oh my goodness, I can't stay in this. I have children too. I have a family, and I want to be able to have them have nice things.
That's
so
the problem. Right.
This puts us in a position to be able to give teachers
and award the teachers who deserve
higher
it.
salary earlier in
Amen.
their career.
And keep them with it, because, you know, that's a great point. I meet a lot of teachers who have the passion, Mary Ellen, they have the heart, and yet they can't afford to be in the profession.
Right.
I mean, they really can't. They can't raise their own family.
And we have to do that. We have to address that.
I mean, so I applaud you for this effort, and I would love to see it statewide and then nationwide, you know, where we compensate education.
Well, our goal is to get this implemented in Hillsborough, and then have that be a model, so that it can be used if people want to go there. But remember, it's not something that should be done to people. It should be collaboratively worked through.
That's right. That's right. Maybe someday we'll be talking to you from Washington, D.C. as the education secretary and so on and so forth.
I have a job in Hillsborough.
I love it. I love it. It's good stuff, man. So that's to be really congratulated for all of these accomplishments that you've done. I can't say enough about it. I want to speak to you a moment here on my last thing, this race to the top that everybody is frantic about. What a race to the top it is. And we were just speaking to the Kentucky Commissioner earlier, Dr. Terry Holliday, in regards to that. And he was telling me the final 10 in April that they had placed in the top 10 as well. So how did you guys fare?
Well, we were third or fourth in the lineup. They gave the first two, so we were very, very close. Right. And, you know, I mean, it was a great application developed by the Department of Education. Right. And, you know, I'm just very pleased that we got where we got. Right. And I think we just need to, you know, submit on the next one, which already has been submitted. And with this momentum, and we need to move forward. We need to move forward.
Anything's possible. So, how much money is at stake overall for this program? $700.
In Florida, the request was for $700 million.
$700 million.
Right,
okay.
And it's going to fund a lot of the kind of necessary infrastructure to support teachers getting better.
So out of that $700 million, I understand that half stay with the state and half will be divvied up against the folks the districts who are involved.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so it could be very rewarding.
Could be a substantial amount of money for districts, right?
And so you guys will have your hand in there again and be looking to improve it. Well, the cool thing about all this is it brings back such a level of improvement and continues for you to be on the edge. I would definitely call Mary Ellen Elia a brink thinker. This is a brink thinker here, somebody who's taken it just a little bit further, and I applaud those efforts. We need to see it all the way across the board, not just in education, but in healthcare and in business and in all aspects of our life. We need to see this raise in the bar mentality, which is really what I so enjoy about the Sterling Council and what's happening here at the 18th Annual Sterling Conference. So again, this is America's ultimate business huddle here in Orlando at JW Marriott. Mary Ellen Elia, the superintendent of Hillsborough County, thank you so much for being with me this afternoon. And again, this is Malcolm Out Loud. Remember, get involved, get loud.
So what does all of this mean for teachers? Well, there are 4 main areas that teachers will be expected to focus on. The first is set high expectations and provide a culture of rigor for students using high-quality curricular tools. Secondly, differentiate instruction with rich learning experiences informed by results from aligned formative and interim assessments. Next, continuously improve their practice by engaging with other teachers in lesson study and other job-embedded, data-driven professional development. And finally, access compensation and career opportunities that reflect the value of effective teaching and leadership. So strap on those running shoes and get ready for Florida's amazing race to the top. And as always, remember that communication is key. We'll be listening for more hot topics to chat about next time on Teacher Talk. Great. All right. LEA, Local Education Agency, which in this... No, I'm sorry. I meant right there with it. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. No, keep going. Okay, keep going. Well, I changed my mind. Okay, I'm going to start right there. Right where it says first. Okay. First, you need to... We want to give a big congratulations to Michael Varn, who was a second grade teacher at Brooker Creek Elementary School in Tarpon Springs, Florida. He won our November Teacher Treasure giveaway, which was a $100 gift certificate to Chick-fil-A. If you'd like to enter the December giveaway for a $100 gift certificate to Publix, go online to www.FLDOE.org/justforteachers and enter on the Teacher Treasures site.